Let's get into it, buddy. We're going to do the Bloodseys, the first annual Bloodseys right here, where we're going to be handing out some awards. The topics, we have the Popcorn Award. This is for the best popcorn movie of the year. We have best screenplay, best kill, best practical effects movie, best cinematography, best performance, best villain, scariest movie, and worst movie. Let's start there. Let's start with worst movie. We've been talking about all the best movies so far. Well, I only had 2 on my list. And again, just to repeat myself, because I said this at the beginning, the year started out with all these movies coming out that were getting bad reviews, and I was not watching them.
Yeah.
So a lot of them that like I knew, well, like I didn't watch Night Swim this year. I don't know. I didn't hear anything good about it. So I'm like, fuck it. But so there's not really that many that I watched that I thought were terrible. And even the 2 that I have on my list, I kind of enjoyed to a degree, but they were the worst movies that I saw out of the 24 new movies that I saw in 2024. But what do you got? What did you have as the worst one?
I wouldn't
You guys
say
in the chat too. What's your worst one?
I wouldn't say it was the worst, just more of a letdown. Maybe I was expecting too much based off the cast, but Abigail. I think because I remember seeing the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good one, and it was fun. But they're so I don't know. I can't. We're not to get into it too deeply. They're just off the cast, and some of them in unentertaining ways, and it's just like, what? Why would you even like? I don't want to spoil it, but it's like they flirt with certain elements, and it's like, why would you introduce that if you weren't going to go anywhere with it? What's the point of wasting our time?
Totally. Yeah, like the love story. I hated the bit where she gives the speech. She's like, she picks everybody apart, knows their personalities off how their fucking breath smells and shit like that. It's like I hated it. It was such a dry performance in a scene that we've seen in other movies that you need a big performance. Yes. I always think of Ace Ventura. Yep. You did this and you did that. You know what I mean? Like she did that scene with no personality, and she's good. She's pretty decent. Melissa Barrera. I really liked her in Scream 6. But then Radio Silence, the ones that directed it, it's pretty much like a not a sequel, but like a spiritual successor to Ready or Not. Same type of movie. You got a group of people, they're in a big mansion, fucking people are dying, but it just doesn't have the heart, it doesn't have the humor that the other one had. But also at the same time, I put it on as a nominee for popcorn movie because it is a good popcorn movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just could have been way better. It could have been way funnier and could have been. But I loved the performance from Abigail. Yeah. I liked her character twirling around and shit.
She had fun with it. Yeah, that's why I think it was more of like an expectation thing for me, where it's like it's not even bad, but it just kind of it disappointed me because it didn't meet my personal expectations. But I could totally see other people.
What up, Evan, my brother? Appreciate you being here. Jared saying only watched Abigail because I like Dan Stevens. I feel you there, brother. Yeah, it's like kind of my introduction to him. And then we saw him right after that in Cuckoo. And he's even, bro, if you watched Abigail just to see him and you haven't seen Cuckoo, go watch Cuckoo. Because he's great. He's doing a German accent and shit. It's fantastic. It says The Watchers was the worst movie I saw this year.
It came out this year?
Yeah.
I might have to change my answer. Bro,
okay. Yeah, good.
You know what? I was either between that and Trap based on just because Trap, I did rewatch and it was like, you can have fun with that. But I don't think I'll ever like The Watchers. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, did you not learn anything from the criticism your dad's been getting over the years?
Right.
Like
I would say, first of all, I didn't see that, but I've seen that. I know that's one of the worst fucking movies of the year from what I've heard. Sal saying maybe In a Violent Nature. Considered it, but I respect what they did. I appreciate what they did. They just could have done it better. And it has some elements about it. You know what I mean? They went for it. They went for it. I appreciate that.
Yeah. The Watchers, though, I was like, what the hell is like, what was Dakota Fanning thinking? I mean, M. Night Shyamalan's put out some shit at this point, but he has some bangers, but it's like, what are you thinking, bro? Like, come on now.
Oh, my man. Jared Stark say, Maxine, I was on the fence, but it grew on me. I saw Romulus on Thursday night. Then at Friday, 11 a.m. the next day, I loved it. Hell yeah.
I've seen that movie multiple times, yeah.
My man's E saying Trap was pretty bad. Probably the worst horror I'd seen this year. I had it as, let me see. Where'd my little list go. I'm going with Salem's Lot. Now, this is another
Yeah,
one that I didn't see Watcher, so that I couldn't make my list. I had Salem's Lot and Trap, and that's the thing though. I can get something out of both these movies.
yeah,
Salem's Lot, by the end of it, you're like, it's so stupid. It's so disappointing of what they
yes,
could
that's.
have done, but it is kind of fun, and there's some entertainment to it. But it is a kick in the dick that it could have been great. Oh my god, I should have fucking put Quiet Place Day One is on my list too because I fucking hated it. I saw it in the theater. I've only seen it once. I gave it like a 1.5. I thought it was dog shit, but I'm weird about theaters sometimes.
I will say that I don't think it was terrible, but I remember like because I feel like people were raving about this one, like it's
Oh
the
yeah,
best Quiet Place yet. And when I was like going into it, because I was like, I really love the first two Quiet Places, so I'm gonna love this one. I saw it and I was like, it's definitely not the best one. It's not a terrible movie, but I don't see why
yeah.
everyone is saying this is the best Quiet Place.
I gotta
Um,
watch it again, man. We should. I know we've whipped through our 2024 thing, but I still would like to knock it out at one point.
I'm
Like
here. Yeah, I'm
get
here
to it
for
and
it.
cover it. Yeah.
You know what I think it was? It was the premise because this is like we got elements of it in the second one, but I think most people want to see what these creatures would do in a fully populated area, and this
Right.
was
Right.
a movie for it. So
Right. What I don't know. I didn't expect it to be, and these movies are like both Quiet Place 1 and 2, like are like quiet, like
yeah,
slow
yeah,
burn movies, but they're also like it's weird because you don't think of them like that because they're like really exciting at times too. I just feel like they didn't get the balance. Well, the biggest thing was I hated that character. They started out with like, "Hey, we're gonna get you to hate this fucking character," and then she's gonna win you over by the end of it. And by the end
they
of it, I
didn't.
was like, "No, it didn't. It did not work." I'm still not
Mm,
a huge fan of her, although she's a great actress.
oh yeah, Lupita Nyong'o.
My least favorite was A Quiet Place, and what was yours? Abigail. Yeah, I'm with you,
Oh,
brother.
no, I changed it to the Watchers.
Okay, yeah,
I forgot all about that. Like that movie pissed me off.
yeah. Let's go. I'm gonna do these all out of order how I have them here. Let us go. What do you think the best is? And the way we're gonna do these, we're gonna try to come to an agreement. And chat, we need your help for this. So hopefully you guys have seen enough of these to kind of help us out. But let's do cinematography. I don't think we're gonna have a hard time, or maybe we will. Okay, here are the nominees, and we got a lot. So I'm gonna give you the nominees. Link's gonna tell
I
me
know how I'm gonna win.
his vote. I'm gonna give my vote, and chat. We want to know what you guys think. So this is best cinematography of the year. There's 8 nominees. So I'll just go through them. I saw the TV glow, the first
Strong.
omen, the substance, strange darling, smile 2, Nosferatu, long legs, and cuckoo. All and again, the way I made these, if I missed any, my bad. I just got a list of all the movies I saw, and I just put all the ones that I thought had banging cinematography.
No,
But
yeah, that's a strong list.
what's your pick, man? To me, it's between a couple.
For me, I would say it's narrowed down between Strange Darling, Nosferatu, and Cuckoo.
Hmm.
Smile 2 is in there. I'm just gonna let biasness win. I'm gonna go with Strange Darling
I
because
love it.
Giovanni, it's his first time, bro, and it's a beautiful film. Like some of the shots they have are very captivating and engrossing. He's been doing his homework, and you can tell. I think that's a big. I mean, they had great performances, but I think some of the shots in that movie are a big reason why it succeeds
Totally.
so well. Because it's
Y-
like,
y- no, go ahead. Go ahead. Well,
nah,
what I was gonna say is like because Nosferatu is like kind of like the one that comes to mind. You know what I mean? They did so
mhm,
much cool shit with it, but it's almost like expected in a way, and it's like
yes,
it's a movie that's set up for that. Strange
yep,
Darling could have been a movie that was shot normal,
yep.
and it might have sucked. Nosferatu could have been shot normal, and it still would have looked great because
You
of
would
the
have
set
had,
designs and
yeah,
the epicness of it all.
mm,
But Strange Darling, it just could have been like a regular basic ass movie. It could have been a regular
they,
basic ass movie if they didn't write it out of order,
not,
non-sequentially, and the cinematography. So for
yeah,
those two combined, it was almost like pound for pound. It's more important to that film in a
yeah,
way.
no, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they had great performances, but you take away some of those shots, and it's just kind of like I don't say it's not a plain movie, but it's the cinematography enhanced it quite a bit. Like it
Right.
added this sophistication, this demure to it.
Totally. My man Evan say, damn, I
I
gotta
feel
say either Long Legs or Nosferatu. Right. Long Legs was fantastic too.
yeah,
Subtle, cool camera movements, a lot of headspace, which is something I've heard other people mention. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, it's like something about that. Like it's scary to have a bunch of empty space in the screen
You
because
know
you're like,
what
where's
they
it going to come from?
what one thing that got me with their speaking of that was when it's the scene when Nicolas Cage is walking up to the car and you don't see his face. You hear him talking though, but you just see him from like the waist. It kind of stops at like stomach to chest level,
Mm-hmm.
and I found myself like trying to peek
Yeah.
chair,
Yes.
like So I feel like that was a good job of that. Like they did that. They were trying to incite that feeling where you're like you want a closer peek at who's this
I
real.
love shit like that. I love things
Mm-hmm.
that invite the audience to like look around. Like
Yeah,
you can do certain things with the camera. They're like, oh, I'm supposed to be looking around and searching the screen for something right
studying. Yep.
now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, man. Jared saying after the House of the Dragon season 2 finale, the awards for biggest tease was sealed. Everything I saw after that was cake. Bro, I didn't see it yet, but now
I
you've
gotta
teased
finish.
me. Now
All
I
right.
feel teased. Evan saying strange, darling cinematography, fire as fuck. I might have spiced that up a little bit. And Jared saying heard good things about Strange Darling. So okay, so let's see. We're gonna see if this works out. Evan, Jared, for what you guys have seen, you guys get a huge vote in this. Sal, I'm gonna go. Damn, because I could get behind you. I could go Strange Darling. I'm gonna go Nosferatu just because of the scene with the shadow. That shadow scene, because that's what you have to. There's a couple shadow scenes. You have to do that if you're gonna do Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That's what the original one
Yeah.
did. You've got all these shadow scenes, and the one in the movie where it's the hand going over the whole city is fucking badass. But there's another one where his hand, you see the shadow like travel up these stairs and then go up and it opens up a door. Then you open up the door and the main character's behind the door. And I was like, fuck it. I just love that shit so much. So I'll give it to Nosferatu. Can you guys help us decide? You guys want to have a vote? Is it Nosferatu or is it Strange Darling? And Evan, you saw Strange Darling and Nosferatu, so you might be the best one to vote for this. You might be the chat. You might be the deciding factor in all these, brother. I was gonna say our original idea was to try to come to a meeting of the minds.
Yeah. Let's
Jared
try
says,
that.
haven't seen Strange Darling, only saw Maxine, The Watcher, Alien Romulus for horror films. I'm useless as Wilson
No,
from Castaway. I think You know what? I think it's going to overcomplicate things. I say we give out 2 awards. You give out an award, and I give out an award for each one of
that's
these.
fair. That's fair.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Nosferatu introduction in front of the fireplace was incredible. Agreed. I just love that you didn't see him so much in the first part of the movie.
Just
The
the
whole thing was
eyes.
badass. Let's do that because I don't want to. I feel like it's just going to get awkward for us waiting on the chat to decide each one of these. So we'll just give out our fucking awards.
And that's the chat. They can throw out there what they think is deserving of those categories.
Hells yes. All right, so Strange Darling and Nosferatu for cinematography. And let us do what do you think is let's do the best screenplay. What do you think's the best screenplay? So here's the nominees is I Saw the TV Glow, which neither of us loved, but
Yeah.
we wanted to add it to the list just because I respected what they
Yeah. I
did
think.
with that story. I thought it was cool. Some of it went over my head too. So part of me was like, just in case, I should put that on the list anyway. Oddity, which I think was kind of the strong point of the movie, Strange Darling, Heretic, Smile 2, and The Substance. So again, this is screenplay / story. The Substance, Smile 2, Heretic, Strange Darling, Oddity, and I Saw the TV Glow. What who you giving the Bloodsey to?
I gotta give You know what? I'm gonna give this Bloodsey to Heretic. I think that just religious movies cannot be for me sometimes, and the whole it's like a weird debate, and it's like strong arguments from each side, and it's this cat and mouse game, and I don't know. I think the script was really like you said, Hugh Grant was fucking devious but disarming the whole time. Like as much as gnarly shit or as nefarious as things got, like he was even more polite and charming about
Right.
shit. So it was like, um, I mean, that's more based off performance, but
Well,
I gotta
still
feel
though.
like his character was written to, like,
Right. Well, the way they amped him up was fucking
mhm.
perfect. And the the juxtaposition of how the girls felt and how he was acting. Like you had to write in a way that we know how the girls feel and then how he's acting the whole time was
Mm-hmm.
I think I might be with you, honestly, because the substance would be the other one for its originality, but Heretic
Yeah.
had so much in the dialogue, which is a huge part of the screenplay. It's all dialogue. The
Yeah.
substance, I liked the twists and turns. Strange Darling, I liked the non-linear storytelling of it. Oddity, we had the multiple twists. And Smile 2 was just super complex. He's building lore. That's the other thing about like one of the reasons why I think Smile 2 like should be in contention is all what we've mentioned with the characters and stuff. Having that really complex relationship with the superstar character who putting her in that position made it really fucking interesting. But I'm gonna go with Heretic too because I think it's most dependent on it. It's you know what I mean. That was where my vote was. Like without the screenplay, it's nothing. It's not like there's great cinematography or it's just acting and screenplay.
It's really kind of I not to pick it up, but I don't say it's got boring shots, but yeah, like you said it best. It's like it's the dialogue that makes this how things unfold is what makes this film the most engaging. Like it doesn't necessarily have the best shot set up or but it's serviceable. But it is really the story and how shit plays out that really is gonna make you want to stay to the end of the film.
Right.
Which
it does so fucking well. Like it's so engaging right off the bat. Like every turn of it gets the more I think about it, the more I think we kind of nailed it with that. Because then once you get to the second part of the movie, which I don't want to spoil, and then the third part, like the story changes enough to where there's these twists and turns. It's so basic. It's just three people in a house most of the time. Like what are you without a great screenplay? But all right, so we're giving it to Heretic. We're giving it to Heretic, and I think we feel good about it. By the way, we did get a vote a little late from Evan. He said I'd say Strange Darling. He would have leaned to for it. So I think technically we could say Strange Darling does win Best Cinematography. Technically. Jared said, but the demons from her past threatened to pull her back into hell. She narrowly escaped. I don't know what we're talking about.
I was thinking
she's talking about Mel. My man's still going on about Maxine. Okay. I feel you, brother. I feel you. He's right. It is a pretty solid screenplay. There's things that movie. Mia Goth, I don't even have her on our list of best performances, and that sucks. Like, cause she's one of the best performers, and it didn't even make. And I got 10 people on that fucking list, which we'll get to in a moment. We've still yet to get to best kill, best performance, scariest movie. So stick around. Let's do right now. Popcorn Award, the best popcorn movie. Which part of the reason why I wanted to do this is so that we could put things on this, nominate things like Abigail, like VHS Beyond. So we've got those two: Abigail, VHS Beyond, Smile 2, Alien Romulus, Terrifier 3, and The Substance. I don't know if this. First of all, let's start there. Do you think it kind of belongs on this list or not? Is it too heady to be a popcorn movie?
No, because I think that it's one of those movies that threads the needle. That was like you could watch this and just be entertained by the visuals and the crazy shit going on screen. But if you want to dissect it and get cerebral with it, there's plenty of themes that littered throughout this movie for you to pick at and have fun with. Is what it's what it's trying to speak on. So I it strikes that fine balance. But it's not gonna like you watch this and you're like, well, what is the point in that? Like, it's just
right.
A monster.
You're not going to be confused by, what they're trying to do. Yeah, you're right. It's dealing with deep issues, but not in a way that you're like, oh, I can't figure this out. You're like, oh my God. And it's entertaining the whole way through.
Yep.
So they're not pulling any punches when it comes to that.
It's probably the most sophisticated popcorn movie on the list.
By the way, my man's was talking about Heretics as far as, oh, no. What was I saying? He was talking about screenplay when it came to Strange Darling, which I'm with you on that too, brother. The fucking, again, watch Strange Darling, people.
Yeah.
Jared says, every time I see the word heretic, I think of Joan of Arc. Sal saying The Substance has pop culture elements to it. It was fun to watch too. Yeah, exactly. So again, the nominees for Popcorn Award: The Substance, Terrifier 3, Abigail, Alien Romulus, VHS Beyond, and Smile 2. What say you, Missing Link? Who are you giving it to?
This might be an easier one. I got to go with Alien Romulus, man. Because I told you I've seen that quite a few times this year, but it's a film you can just kind of throw on and have fun with. Like if you want to see some aliens getting blasted away or some people getting xenomorphed and face huggers, kid calls it. He delivers that. and you don't have to put too much thought in. Like, well, so where the xenomorphs? It's something that I think Prometheus kind of got too lost in, that
Yeah.
divided people. No, I loved it. Was where the xenomorphs come from? It got too lost in the source of the origin of that, and it's
Mhm.
you just want to see xenomorphs fucking kill people sometimes,
On
Yeah,
Disney Plus. You know
Disney,
what I
yeah,
mean?
Disney. I'm telling you, people, they are a dirty mouse. But
Uh,
no, this
I'm with
was
you, by the way. I'm good. I think this is a unanimous decision, at least from us on the panel. I think it's Alien Romulus all day.
yeah,
Like I love to be able to put VHS beyond there because we both enjoyed it so much. But I would say Alien Romulus and Smile 2.
yeah, more
Like Terrifier
universal,
3 I put on there because it's got all the fun elements, but it's
and it's
also like
Christmas.
you might like be grossed out by the popcorn at some points. You know what I mean? It's not like, it is hard to watch. But Alien Romulus for me and for you and for Evan. So it is a unanimous decision.
Yeah,
Panel and chat going with Alien Romulus as the best popcorn movie of the year. So hell yeah, man. That leaves us with we still have best villain, best performance. Let's do scariest movie. So I thought this was really tricky because first of all, we're vetted horror and professionals over here. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't fucking get scared. We're tough guys. But actually, that's not true, at least as far as I go. There weren't many that I found like scary. Like it's hard for me to even think of like, oh, a moment that gets me. I'm lucky if one out of like 10 or 15 horror movies that I watched, if there's a moment that gets me, either jump
yeah.
scare or like something more atmospheric, then it's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. But I'm trying to think, I don't think there's really anyway. So here's the nominees. I have Heretic, Oddity, Terrifier 3, Smile 2, and Nosferatu. Again, Nosferatu, Smile 2, Terrifier 3, Oddity, and Heretic. And I'll go ahead. I'll go first with my vote this time. So I feel like I'm putting you on the spot for every one of them. I feel just to real quick, I'd say Nosferatu has a really great atmosphere and it does have a couple really good jump scares. And the fucking Dracula himself looks really creepy. So it's got that going for it. So that would be one that I would really consider. But I'm going to say Terrifier 3 just because it made me feel so fucking uncomfortable on my first watch. And I don't know, it really, not that it's scary, but it's tough to watch at times. And
Yes.
Art the Clown is fucking, yeah, out of all the slasher villains, he might be the scariest. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
he's my favorite, but there's something pretty freaky about him. So I'm going Terrifier 3.
Yeah. Even I'm saying, yeah, that's a struggle, man. Because I'm sitting here thinking like the last genuine scare I think I've gotten was out of Smile One, where she's on the computer and the fucking ghost is
Mm-hmm.
whispering, and then it's on the side of her, like that. I was like, oh my god, that genuinely scared
Rose.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of
Yes.
the, I mean, for me, that's like one of the greatest jump scares. I'm prone to hyperbole of all time, at least in
I
the
agree.
past 20 years. Like that's like an epic one, I think.
No, yeah, because I'll be the. It's hard to really, get me with shit. So it's like the fact that one genuinely got me. Oh my, I was unsettled. Um, Even with the movies I've loved this year, though, I don't know if I necessarily found them scary. There's elements like maybe
Right.
like oddity and shit. With
Yeah.
at the beginning and the tent scene, but I gotta go with. I'll go with you on Terrifier 3.
Hell
Because
yeah.
there was, like I said, there was or on the when we covered it, I remember saying like there was something about it was just disturbing with you know some of the yeah, I don't know, it didn't even have anything crazy about it. Maybe it might have been like the implication, like the whole I'm trying to think of a spoiler free, but the aunt scene and how she was exited 69, and
wait, wait,
how,
wait. We're talking Terrifier 3?
yeah,
The ant. Which one's the the
sure,
rat scene? The rat down the
rat scene,
throat bit? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah, it's
and just
more
the
like gore
mindset
and
from that.
disgust, but as far as like giving you an actual feeling,
Hmm.
I don't know. Another like a moment that I thought about was in Heretic when they go to the basement, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But it reminded me so much of Barbarian, and I think one of the scariest moments in the past like handful of years for me is that moment in Barbarian.
Charge. Yeah.
So yeah, like even when she's making her way down to the basement, but yes, when Skarsgård comes up, but I think like that moment in Heretic reminded me too much of that moment in Barbarian for it to really be that
I,
effective.
Right. That same year, because I did want to say Heretic, but I was like, there was something so similar to it, compared to Barbarian, that I was kind of expecting some shit to pop off. As soon as the
Mm,
surprised like I was in Barbarian when they're going in the basement, and I'm knowing some shit's gonna pop off. So I don't think like that really had as much of an effect as maybe someone who maybe the more casual moviegoer.
right.
Obviously, the director was intending for that to have an effect on you, but if you've seen that Barbarian, you're kind of like, I know where this is going. Shit's not gonna go any better by going into the basement.
Bring
Um,
out the 7 foot tall naked lady. Come on, let's fucking get to it.
But I think for me, it was Terrifier was the mindset of the rat scene with the and the stipula or the circumstances that were playing in that
Oh
scene.
yes, oh exactly. Especially because you get the reaction to that right afterwards. That was fucking gnarly. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, it's pretty easy for me. Nosferatu did have some moments, like my
Yeah,
man, somebody said down there. Evan said my top 5 for the year is Longlegs #1, Nosferatu, Strange Darling, The Substance, and Alien Romulus. Fucking
a
very,
solid top five.
very,
Yeah,
very strong.
oh yeah,
D dog, you old son of a bitch. What up, my brother? Says Nosferatu had a couple moments that got me in the theater. I knew it
I
was
can
you.
see that.
I knew it was you. Yeah, no, it got a couple, like the very opening scene. Like he comes up, grabs her by the throat or whatever. Like in the very opening scene, it got me, and a couple times later on, and just like when you first meet him and his voice is so badass. Evan saying he's going with Terrifier 3 as well for scariest movie of the year because art is creepy as fuck. So I could say Smile 2 because the music can be creepy in moments and it can be anxiety
Yeah.
inducing. I like Smile 2 is definitely up there as having like some of the gnarliest moments. Such a fucking great movie.
Oh, you know what just came to mind? The
Oh,
apartment
good
scene.
point right here, Sal from Heretic. The statue.
Oh, you thought it was?
That's
Mhm.
probably the creepiest moment of that movie. That's a good call because it happens before the basement bit, which reminded me so much of
Oh
Barb.
yeah, when they're trying.
That's probably
Yo,
the
yeah, I
scariest moment of the
remember that.
movie.
Because I remember thinking, like, okay, like, because he's walked away at this point, you don't notice the girls aren't following behind you, and then they think to see him in the hallway, and he's just standing there in the dark, all fucking like
Yeah,
creep, and it's
perfectly
not even
still.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Smile too. You know what I did that was another creepy scene, but it wasn't overtly, but it was just, I guess, just how they did it was the apartment scene where all her backup dancers are in her
Oh
trailer or whatever.
yes, yes. God, yeah, I forgot all about that. That's one of my favorite scenes. It's absolutely
Hmm.
insane. That's kind of
Yeah.
like it. Like in a nutshell, that's what I love so much about those movies because it's so beautiful and stylized. Like what they're doing is like so
The
cool and
movements. Yeah.
artsy and everything, but it's so mainstream at the same time
Mm.
and like creative. But it doesn't feel as artsy as it looks at times in that movie.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that if I would have thought about that, I might have leaned harder in that scene. Might have leaned harder to that for the cinematography bit. But let us move on. So Terrifier 3 gets scariest movie of the year. The Bloodsey goes to Terrifier 3. So we have
Yes, sir.
left, we have best kill, best performance, best villain, and best practical effects movie. So let's do that one now.
Okay. Uh,
Best practical effects movie. So we
oh,
have the nominees are, which is again, this is why I'm glad to do it. This is the only thing we haven't really had a chance much to talk about in a violent nature, which is the first nominee. The Substance, which is nominated for like most of these fucking lists or
yeah.
categories. Alien Romulus, Maxine, Terrifier 3, and Smile 2. Now, Smile 2, my issue is like they go out of their way to use so much practical effects, but then like
And
I
the
feel, and we
CGI.
mentioned this when we reviewed it, yeah, they always use all this CGI blood that looks like shit. It's like, bro, you're ruining all the good
Yeah.
work these people are putting in on the practical effects. But what do you think? Which one do you think a movie as a whole has the best
I,
practical effects?
I gotta go with the substance, man. I feel
Me too,
like
bro. I'm with you.
you're okay. Yeah,
Had
I
to.
don't know. I even they did what they're supposed to do. Like I don't mind if a movie uses CGI to enhance some shit, but make sure most of it is practical effects and the CGI is just complementing, making shit a little bit more seamless. And Substance did it perfectly. Yeah, that's something that irritated me was like because I feel like even though I love the opening scene of Smile too, I feel like that's where I saw a lot of like the fucking was like
Mm.
the gunshots, fake CGI blood or something like that, and I'm just like, bro, they
It's
were
something
doing
about the
this
way it
like,
squirts. Like it
yeah,
squirts just like it's
it's
really obvious that it's not real blood. Now with that particular scene, I kind of get why they'd want to use CGI blood because it was like a 10-minute one shot.
Right. You
And
quick.
the blood
Yeah.
fucks up
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know. But then again, I do think they used some real blood in that scene. I heard the director
No,
talk
they
about
did.
it. Yeah.
That was good, but there's certain elements that I'm trying to think of the shot that it was that I was thinking of. The Paul Walker movie Running Scared, which is a great movie,
Mm.
but this came out like early 2006, so it was shot in 2005, and at the 20 years ago, it was cool to be used in CGI. All the gunshots in this are
Right.
CGI, and I got kind of elements of that with the opening scene of Smile too. And I'm
Hmm.
thinking like 20 years removed from this, like, but
Right.
it wasn't enough to take me out of it. But I definitely feel like it was more obvious and glaring as opposed to the substance where I feel like the substance should have been more obvious that it's using CGI because of the kaiju human shit she turns into, whatever she turns into. But it's disturbing. And even okay, so that ending scene where it's like the puddle,
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was dope as shit. But
I love
obviously
it.
but that's what I'm saying, it works well. It didn't take me out of it as
Hmm.
opposed to like it's a minor thing in Smile too. But like I said, I was like, oh, that reminds me of Running Scared, the CGI blood.
Hmm.
I didn't get any of that in the substance. I think they balanced it well. So I
Well,
gotta
this, I'm right there with you. It seems like the chat is too. Evan saying, "Yeah, I'll go with the substance for effects." Sale says substance is a good choice. Also mentioning, great point here. I saw a video, but
that's
all
a
the
runner.
practical effects in or Alien Romulus, that would have been maybe my second choice. I mean,
Yeah,
Terrifier 3 obviously does a fucking phenomenal job. It's got
yeah,
insane practical effects and a lot of them and a lot of different elements of it. With Alien Romulus, what I respect about it is they're like I think they're the first Alien movie since like part 3 to really use
okay.
mostly practical effects.
Mhm.
All the face huggers, all the xenomorphs are practical. It looks phenomenal, but like they didn't have to come up with any cool designs. You know
Right.
what I mean? H.R. Giger did all the heavy lifting. They just had to
Mhm.
rebuild the shit, which credit to them. Don't get me wrong. But the substance, they created that. That's a crazy look. And there's like a few different like versions of the
Mhm.
way that Demi Moore
Like
looks.
from Dragon Ball Z, like
Right. Yeah. She keeps on like, so there's like a metamorphosis going on. Even just like the ripping her back and there's just a lot of cool elements of it. And then you got to give her respect for putting that on and wearing it
oh,
and all
and
that.
bro, let's the Nosferatu meme you had sent me the other day, like
Yeah.
that's Demi Moore, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like that makeup is perf. Like that was so on point. She's got like the hunchback and the really thick skin. Um, yeah, it had a really. I think because I don't think people pay attention enough to that. Is like that's one of the most horrific things. Is like when your body is turning on you, you don't know what's going on with your body.
For
It's like
real.
your body changing, and you're like, oh fuck, I don't feel like I've changed anything. Why is my body changing? I've kept the same
Well,
diet, and
that's why like fucking David Cronenberg, people always compare his work to like cancer. It's
mm-hmm.
like that's what's scary. If you really think about it, her body is doing all this crazy stuff that she can't stop. And like, yeah,
Yep,
that's like the real fear that we have. You know what I mean?
yep.
What's gonna happen to you? Especially you live in the United States, like or whatever. That's like your most likely way to die. You're not gonna die violently or rarely, but
To be
cancer
fucking
is what's most likely gonna get you or something like that. Okay, so the substance wins best practical effects movie. The Bloodsey goes to the substance. So we have left. I'm trying to save the best ones for the end. We got best performance, best villain, and best kill. Let's do
okay,
let's do best villain.
okay.
So we got great ones here. Nosferatu, Longlegs, played by Nicolas Cage, James McAvoy's character from Speak No Evil, the Smiler, who I just added that in there because
Oh
it's not a performance, but it's a character. Like the Smiler,
yeah,
that's what they call the guy in Smile. He is a villain. He's not really seen in his well, I guess he is at the end. Art the Clown, and of course, Hugh Grant, the scariest of them all. So to recap, we have Hugh Grant from Heretic, Art the Clown, the Smiler from Smile 2, James McAvoy's character from Speak No Evil, Nicolas Cage's character Longlegs from Longlegs, and Nosferatu, played by Bill Skarsgård. What
all
say
very
you, my brother?
all very solid, strong performances. Every single one of them. I'm kind of leaning towards Heretic and Longlegs, surprisingly.
Hmm.
Even though it wasn't one of the movie I listed, I gotta recognize Nick Cage for bringing some. I don't even want to say it was gravitas, but he brought something to that. He was having fun. Um, while it's disturbing, it gets a little kooky and zany sometimes. I don't want to say the realm of disbelief, but almost. But where Hugh Grant is a little bit more believable, and his
Hmm.
connivingness and I don't know. It's she's so fucking charming and polite that it's like too sweet to be kind or some shit. I don't know.
Right.
I gotta go. You know what? I'll just be real. Hugh Grant, because I'm sitting here thinking of like the scenes where he's sitting there just fucking singing into while they're locked in the basement. He's singing to
I'm a
them.
weirdo.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then I'm thinking of the scene where the lady that he's one of, not to spoil it, but the switcheroonie he does on them, and meanwhile he knows all of this is going on, where he's got
Hmm.
certain things, and he's just like, I'm gonna let him believe what they believe, and it's all gonna be good. He doesn't ever get upset. He's just this happy cheery. I need you to be a believer, and be a witness for this. And I don't know, there's something very off-putting about how happy, and like it's almost like truly evil, because in the movie he discusses about how he was trying to find the true religion, and it's like his politeness almost like contrasts what the
Hmm.
true religion I guess would be. And I don't know, there's something very disturbing about how polite and nice he is, but he's doing all these heinous things while
Right.
being polite and kind
Well,
about it.
again, that's like very fucking real life. You know what I mean? He's a
Yeah.
politician.
Yes.
Basically, he's smiling while he's stabbing you in the gut. Yeah, I think here. Let me look at the list again. So Hugh Grant, Art the Clown, the Smiler, James McAvoy, Longlegs, and Nosferatu.
Oh yeah.
Oh god! Now, as far as performances go, it would be between Hugh Grant, like traditional performances. Hugh Grant does the most performing. He does the
Yes.
most. He's got the most words. He's got the most to do. Art the Clown, though, nobody could
Iconic.
do that the way Art the Clown does. Like there is a
It's
performance
true.
going on there. It's super important performance.
And he has no dialogue. That's
Yeah, no
that's true.
dialogue. But as far as like I'm taking in not just the performance, which I know you were also taking in like the character as well. I gotta go with my man Evan. Evan says before Nosferatu, I'd say Longlegs, but now I gotta go with Orlok. I gotta
And
go with Count Orlok.
that's
That
fair.
this
Yeah.
version of Dracula, the mustachioed fucking Count Dracula, which we actually get in the book, that voice is so crazy. That's like so crazy.
And
The look and like the look of him at the end of the movie.
mm,
Spoiler, they kill him. But like that look when he fucking is killed, I just love that so much. It's so fucking cool looking. And I don't think all these will be remembered, but he's
yeah.
going to be
Oh,
remembered and talked about for a long time because we're never going to stop getting vampire movies and we're never going to stop getting Dracula adaptations. So he's always going to be brought up again. Every time a new Dracula
that's
movie
it.
comes out, they're going to be like, well, Bill Skarsgård. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't. What I liked about his was that he wasn't like a. I don't want to say like he wasn't like the stereotype like sophisticated demure vampire. He
right.
was authoritative though. He still had like an air of like I think what vampires had possesses like an air of
Aristocrat.
y-
He's an
yeah,
aristocrat. I don't know how to
yeah.
say that the way I wanted to.
No, aristocraticness. Aristides are very, but no, yeah, I think that he wasn't smooth, but he still had that air of him, like he was authoritative and he had a presence about him.
Right. He still
So
comes off as like more high society and more
yeah,
intelligent
yeah,
than Nicholas Holt's character. He's smarter
hmm
than everybody in the
yep.
movie. He's more
So that's what.
disgusting, but he's smarter, which is spot on for
Mhm.
Dracula from the book. Again, like Dracula as described in the book, disgusting looking, but well, actually, he's more polite than the Orlok that we get in this. He's much more charming.
Or that's more
In
of
the
a
book, he is charming, and then he becomes an asshole.
okay,
But the
okay.
sophistication is there. So boom, you're saying Hugh Grant. I'm saying Nosferatu. Evan is saying Nosferatu. Does anybody else have a vote on this one? Like the other thing, I wanted to compare him to Longlegs because Longlegs and Orlok are a good comparison because of all the prosthetics and how like it's a really weird character that is nothing
Yeah,
like their normal like voice,
right.
and we don't see them very much. so they're just sprinkled in. But for me, I appreciate more of what we get from Nosferatu, because I don't want to spoil Longlegs, but what happens with Longlegs in the movie, where like Nosferatu, he's there in the end scene, and like there's something about Longlegs not being there at the end, like that's kind of
That kind
annoying
of
to
thing.
me, and it takes away from something
Yeah,
from him.
I agree with that. No, yeah,
Oh, Sal said Orlok too.
and you know, I was gonna say like I don't want to say because Skarsgård's playing a fucking vampire, so because I was gonna say Nicolas Cage's performance kind of pushes towards the wrong disbelief. Mind you, Skarsgård's playing a vampire, but there's something more credible, or I don't know. Like you said, I think it does that fact that he sees it to the end. Like he
Mm-hmm.
he was like you said earlier. He was smarter than every other character. That's something Longlegs. And that's kind of why it reminded me of Seven too.
Well,
It's
that's the thing about Longlegs that you're making me think of. Like that's part of his plan. He planned to
right.
not be there at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
And he
he that
planned
was
what I think what happens at the end of the movie is part of his plan too. I don't know. You know what I mean? So he's more mysterious. But
true. His motives
part of
are
me thinks that that's because it could be always because it was written well and it left a lot of mystery. But part of me, I just get the feeling with that like it's just hand wavy. It's like, oh no, Longlegs works in mysterious ways. Like we don't explain how he works. Like I don't know. I think you don't know how he works, bro. You know what I
no,
mean?
yeah, no, and you know what? That could be just like a nuance of Cage's performance, where it, like had anybody else performed as Longlegs, we might not be talking about him as much. But
Right. It's
Cage
a good point.
is
The same
gravitas
thing
to
with
him.
Micah Monroe. If you get a
Yeah.
different cast, that movie would have been so different without Micah
What
Monroe and Nicolas Cage.
what else was she in? Because I know
She's
she was in.
She did It Follows, which was the big one from 2015. She's quite a bit younger in that. Big, huge movie. Really similar plot wise to Smile, which was
Right.
like Fallen, where there's
Right.
like a
Okay.
monster
This.
traveling from person to person. But then recently she did one called The Watcher, which is a Shutter original. It's kind of like a Rear Window thing. I haven't seen it, but people love it. And she did another one that's on Paramount Plus called Significant Other, which is like she's off. I really want to watch this fucking movie. I started it once and it seemed good. I didn't get around to finishing it. But she's off in the woods with her boyfriend. They're like out on this trip, like hiking
Mhm.
through the woods, and he proposes to her and she says no. And that's how the movie starts. And then
And he.
it's supposed to go like sci-fi from there. So it's like this wilderness stuck, yeah, like wilderness
Ah,
horror sci-fi. I think. Don't quote me on the sci-fi thing. I think I haven't seen it, but
significant
it was
other.
a really good setup and it seemed cool.
Okay, I'll check that out. Significant.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Watcher, my man says, just called
Watch
Watcher
it.
on Shutter. Hell yeah. So she was in The Guest with Dan Stevens, which is sick. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I seen The Guest. Yo, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and I haven't seen it. I think it came out like 2014 actually. It's been a minute.
So can we get you to switch your vote to Nosferatu? Can we give the
Yeah, yeah.
Bloodsey to Nosferatu?
No, yeah, I'll give it because you know what, because Hugh Grant was kind of playing into the typecast of what people expect from him. You know, wasn't
Right.
outside. He's playing. You know, he was playing his charm in a different way, but we've
Right.
seen him do this before. You know,
Yeah, I don't want to
so
take anything away from Hugh Grant though, because it is the shit.
no, it's amazing,
I
but
got no notes on his performance, and it's like I don't know. I'm with you too, where he does a lot more. He's more important to it, but there's just something about like I don't know the count or like I think they did so much with the look and the
yeah.
voice, and like my man was saying,
I,
the way he changed his voice, and
if you can, it reminds me of Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. Skarsgård is like another Heath Ledger where it's like you can't see him in Pennywise, you can't see him in some of these roles he does, and I think that's amazing, you know, because
mm,
he's got a weird look to him, but I kind of say he's kind of a pretty boy as well, where it's like he could be
mm,
just cast based off his looks, but he takes these roles that kind of take away from his
right.
looks. I respect that, you know.
Totally,
And
man. Yeah. He's this pretty boy that keeps playing the fucking monster. And he likes
mm-hmm,
to pick really different roles. He likes to switch his voice up, which I love. I love, like Leonardo DiCaprio never does it as extreme as what we're getting from him. But I
yeah,
love that. I love when people really throw themselves into a
go
role with
for
the
it.
voice. Evan's
Yeah,
saying he really likes Significant Other, and it does have a touch of sci-fi. D
check it
Dog
out.
saying, have you seen the trailer for Companion? From the producers of Barbarian. No, I've heard of it. I've
I
heard
have
people talking about it. It's coming out in I think the next couple months.
okay.
Uh, I don't watch trailers, but I have heard of it. It wasn't on our list when we did our top 25 or most anticipated movies of 2025,
Oh yeah,
but I
it
did
was.
hear about it afterwards. Evan says Micah is also cool in a cool ass horror comedy with Bill Skarsgård. You guys have to check it out. Called Villains from 2019. Yes, I seen this. This is streaming
Is
somewhere,
is
and I'm
this
like
when
Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe. It looks cool.
is this where they invade a house?
I
Like
think so.
they're I've seen this. Yo, yeah, that was a good one. Oh, I don't I don't know why I watched this though. Like I'm like it's not like I was on a Skarsgård trip, but I might have been. He's the only one in the movie that I really knew of, but I might have been looking at his page like, oh, what is this?
Yeah,
And
I
turned it
saw that
on.
recently. Like, there's another one called like Bone Marrow or some movie that's got Mia Goth, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jonathan from Stranger Things, and I'm like, what the fuck? Marrow Bone? It came out in
What?
like 2019. Yeah, it's got all these people, and I think even someone else. I'm like, what? How the hell have I never heard of this? But it's
I
supposed
will
to
be
be pretty
watching it.
good too. But clearly, it's not like amazing. I think everybody would have heard of it. But all right.
Yeah.
So the Bloodsey goes to Nosferatu for best villain, which leaves us with best performance overall and best kill. What do you want to do? What do you want to do for next?
Um, let's do best kill. We'll say performance. Yeah.
All right. I'll dig it. So best kill. And this one was tricky. I had to look at some lists just in case I'm forgetting shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I put in there, and there's a couple in there. The first two actually aren't your typical kills, but long legs for this face smash suicide. That's a kill. That was a wild
Yeah.
kill. The substance, I kept seeing this on lists, and like I said, I've only seen this once, but the way she dies at the end, I think that's kind of like the whole. I don't know. Personally, I'm not going to vote for it, but I wanted it to be on the list because it is a kill and it is a crazy like set piece ending.
Yeah.
The more I look at it, the first three that I'm listing off aren't really kills. Oddity, the tent kill that we mentioned earlier. You see it off screen. It was very artsy. I wanted it nominated just because it was so fucking cool.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm not voting for it, but it is very, very cool.
The implication.
Now this is another one. This is Suitable Flesh. It premiered in 2023 at festivals. That actually came out streaming. The first time most people could watch this movie was 2024. So the rear view window or the rear view camera kill, you remember that? She's looking in the like she's in a car and she's got a rear view cam and you're just seeing the cam and it's backing into someone. It keeps fucking
Keeps going back.
smashing
Yeah.
them. It's
Yeah.
so cool and
Okay.
creative. It's like, yeah, they nailed that. That deserved to be nominated. And then I feel like the kills that the two best kills in a violent nature, the yoga kill, the cliffside kill, the yoga pretzel, I've heard it called, where he takes this woman, he like punches a hole through her stomach, or he puts a hook through her stomach. What's he do? Oh, he puts the hook through her head and then wraps it through her stomach and bends her body back around. It's fucking insane. And then Terrifier 3, and there could have been a bunch from Terrifier 3. There could have been a few more from In a Violent Nature, but I picked one from each. Terrifier 3, I went with the shower kill. If anyone has any other nominees they'd like to throw out, I'm more than willing to hear your arguments. But what say you, man? Whoa, breaking shit. What do you think is the best kill of 2024?
Damn, I gotta say the shower kill gets me just because I love the little touch of the blood angel he does at the very end.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I forgot. Oh, I didn't mention the smile too. The dude smashing his face with the weight. I didn't mention that one, but that's on the list as well.
Ooh.
Sorry to cut you off.
No. That was a good one because I remember thinking like, "Fuck, bro! Like, how even if you're possessed, how does the body still stand after that? But yeah, I'll stick with Terrifier 3, the shower scene, just because we touched on it when we covered it, but there's like when you're in a shower, there's even though clothing can be so thin, it's really not going to stop anything like a knife or a bullet or a chainsaw to begin with. But the idea of it touching the bare flesh and there's nothing there to safeguard it is just terrifying. And
you mentioned like the fact that like just think about like cutting your finger. Now think about getting your finger pruny and cutting it. You're like, oh, it's so much. Why is it so much worse? That's fucking. That's weird, but it is way worse. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
I just feel like it would be cut up more. I don't know. Something
You're
gross
more
about wet skin being sliced open.
you're vulnerable in every sense. Like you like this wet skin. You're easier to get damaged, even though for adaptive purposes, we don't live underwater, but it's easier for us to grab things when our skins get soggy. But not in,
Right.
yeah, no, you're completely vulnerable. And then in the situation they were in, where it's just like it's like happy time, and then it turned into shit time very quickly.
Right. And it just goes on and on.
Yeah,
And we haven't even mentioned the chainsaw up the asshole or the dick and balls getting shredded. Like, it's insane. He cuts the guy's fingers off, he cuts her titties off. It's fucking and well, this is my vote too. I'm going with it as well. And the fact that this whole time it's this podcast and like, oh, I would kill to see Art the Clown in action. I want to smell his, you know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
fucking insane. It really was there was like something deeper to it too. It's a
yeah,
super gnarly kill with something to be said going on.
yes,
So yeah, I gotta go with it, man. What did Sal saying the yoga girl kill comes to mind? Definitely.
that was gnarly. Yeah,
Saying I'd have to say Evan saying he's going with long legs smashing his face or the Terrifier 3 shower scene. Uh Evan saying
yeah.
something about people smashing their face gets me. That makes me think of Hereditary. Something crazy about that scene in Hereditary where the kid smashes his face. That shit. But yeah, that's what I wouldn't have thought of. And I'm really glad I looked at some lists to be like, oh yeah, the long
That was
legs kill.
perfect.
There's
Yeah.
a one worth mentioning that in a violent nature when the dude, the wood splitter scene, and the guy like gets his head cut off by the wood splitter. There's a couple in Terrifier or in a violent nature. Terrifier 3 when the guy gets his face like fucking peeled off. We mentioned
Oh yeah.
earlier the ant, the rat, the tube shoved down the throat with the rat coming out of her fucking neck. Like, obviously, Terrifier's got a bunch of them. But this could have just been the Terrifier 3
Yeah, yeah.
in a violent nature list. Max, oh, I had Maxine on. There was a couple from
Maxine has some good.
Maxine. I couldn't really pick, like the Kevin Bacon getting killed in the car.
That was
Kind of
gnarly.
cool, but it's different. Her
Best
friend,
friend.
the dude that
Peter.
works in the video store, that's a
Yes.
really cool kill.
Yeah.
That's like a stylish, like Giallo kill. We're getting all these close-ups of the knife, and it's like got an artistic flair to it. And then, dude, does she kill the guy in the alley? That she stomps on his fucking nuts.
They.
Which, by the way, that scene that's now the second gnarliest nuts getting ripped apart scene of the year. Once
I
Terrifier
believe.
3 came out, you're like, oh, whatever. He's
Yeah.
stomping on his nuts, no big deal.
Stomping on nuts as opposed to like a chainsaw to the ass crack and stuff is just a different breed. But I gotta assume that he. I don't know. I feel like maybe he did die because but
I can't
maybe he
remember.
could have.
She
They
puts
they
the gun in
cut. To
his
be honest,
mouth.
they
He
cut
definitely,
when she stepped on
yeah,
his
you're
neck. They
right.
cut right, but. Uh, I will follow the movie logic. If we don't see him die on screen, then he
Right.
still has a chance.
She definitely fucked his day up. Like he had a terrible, terrible day. Dino saying
And
honorable mention to the gerbil scene in Terrifier 3. I was calling her rat. Maybe it's a gerbil. Maybe I fucked that up.
no, it was right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Evan says Maxine, the Kevin Bacon kill. My man's Frank, media and reviews. What up, my brother? Says afternoon. I definitely say the yoga kill and some of the ones you mentioned. I didn't expect it from that movie. I know. It was
Yeah.
that's such a badass kill. To me, that was the highlight of like the first
Of
half of the year, as far
yeah.
as like gnarly ass slasher scene. There wasn't a lot of like looking on my list, there's not a lot of slashers that came out this year that I watched.
No, it was
Honestly,
just.
let me look at that right now. Is there any
I think it was
that
just in a violent
Maxine
nature.
slasher
Or
kind of
yeah.
giallo in a violent nature? You know who I want to mention real quick is the killer from Don't Move. Finn
Oh
Whit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
The guy from American Horror Story.
Yes.
I thought he was great. He was a really great villain in performance that I just couldn't nominate him compared to can't put him up against Long Legs and all that, but he was a real standout performance.
If
Anyway,
he was
just
in
as
the
I'm going through it, no, fucking one slasher in a violent nature is the only one that I saw.
full
That's
flash, yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh no, no, no. No, I was gonna say Finn kind of gave me like vibes of Hugh Grant a little bit, where he's got this really charming, nice guy thing to him. I'd like to see him in more though, for sure, because he
Totally.
was the highlight of that film.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought that was an excellent little movie. It was as good as it could be. I gave it
yeah,
like
yeah,
a 3.5. It started good, it had a good middle, it had a good ending, good performances, but it was just like a small movie. But I
yeah.
do recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's a fun little suspense thriller.
It kind of reminded me of shit. What is the one that Mike Flanagan did with the deaf chick, where she's in the middle of the woods?
Hush,
Hush.
hush.
Kind of gave me those vibes, and I think they're both like a Netflix. You're only gonna they're up their game, but for a
Mm,
while you can only expect so much quality from Netflix films, and I think those are top tier when it comes to like thriller horror Netflix originals.
right.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think it was the main chick, but there was a few scenes that I thought were super dope, like where the cabin scene where he's setting the cabin on
That
fire.
was great.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
like
dope.
as suspense scene of the year, that's up there as being the one of the most
Hmm.
like, oh, you know what I mean? It
How
really had me going. You're like, you care about that character and you don't want her to burn alive while paralyzed. It's just like, yeah, like, it's a really good fucking scene. Okay, so I think let me double check because I don't want to miss anything. I've been doing all these out of order, but I think we've done them all besides the
was
best
okay.
performance of the year. So to recap, we had as the worst movie of the year. You picked or no, you picked Watcher, which I didn't
Yes,
see,
change it.
and I went with Salem's Lot because of
That's fair.
the
That's fair.
disappointing nature of it. For cinematography, I'm what did my man say? Oh, he was talking script. For cinematography, we never decided. You're going Strange Darling. I'm going Nosferatu. We get two Bloodsies for that one. I'm good with it
Okay,
because
that's fair.
we didn't
That's
get a
fair.
clear cut answer from the chat either. But if you guys want to chip in now, let us know. For best screenplay, best story of the year, we went Heretic. Feel really good about that. So
Yeah,
dependent on the screenplay. For popcorn movie, the most entertaining film of the year, we pretty handily picked Romulus as the best popcorn movie of the year.
I think it's fair.
Scariest film of the year, hard one. Not too much scared us this year, but Terrifier 3.
Disturbing. Yeah,
Terrifier 3, the most disturbing, the one that made me feel the most nasty shit while
yeah,
watching it.
yeah.
Speaking of nasty shit, the practical effects film of the year, The Bloodsey, went to The Substance, which really, like, there wasn't even that much in it. It was just that well done. It was just
Yeah,
all the stuff with Demi Moore,
they
like
made it.
her different looks, like
Mm-hmm.
won the day for it. And then villain of the year, we went with Nosferatu, man,
I think that's fair.
with Hugh Grant coming up as a close runner up, and Art the Clown. Art the Clown, he's up there for me. He crushed
Yeah.
it.
No, yeah. You know, it was such a strong year that it's like you could list. I couldn't be mad at anyone else. Anyone listing these three as their main
Right.
the villains of the year.
Totally.
Or just because he didn't, it wasn't listed. Like the fact that he has no. We covered this. We said it many times, but the fact that he has no dialogue, but still such a standout and iconic character. Like
Hmm.
I think one of the, to be honest, one of the more fucked up scenes for me, just because I thought I was gonna take a turn, was he was on the subway and the dude was like in the OG art costume and he wants to take pictures of
Yeah.
him,
Yeah, you're
and they're
expecting him to
just
kill him for sure.
yeah, and because he's smiling at him all weird and shit, but I don't know, like once again, like I think that's just big ups, props to art because he has no line of dialogue whatsoever ever through any of his three movies, four movies, maybe five, including the short films or something. Is it four?
Yeah, I mean the character's been in other ones, but that actor's only done the main three. My favorite bit is when he smacks the girl in the back of the head, Sienna in the back
Oh,
of the
yeah.
head. There's something about that. Like his performances and his, just the way he's the only one that thinks he's funny. He's doing the
Yeah.
most horrific shit
Yeah.
ever. He thinks it's so funny. He's the absolute only one. Sal's got a good point. This was a cool, different kind of kill. That's the thing.
Yeah.
This year, not having slashers, it's not filled up with all these traditional kills. We're getting all this
Yeah.
creative shit. This one could have been more creative because it was taken out of the original Omen movie. There's the same scene in that, but they spiced
The
it up
context of it.
with the fire and just the way it was
Yeah.
shot in this. Yeah, Evan's saying, yeah, Maxine had some great ones, but they don't take the prize. I also put that in for practical effects movie because they did use all practical. You've got
True.
the dude's head being blown off at the end. Won't say who it is. Don't want to
Yeah.
spoil it, but that's cool. That looked really good too. Says no, she didn't kill that dude, but that shit was crazy as fuck about the guy getting his nuts stomped on. And he's saying he would give it to Nosferatu for cinematography as well. So I think we can. I think we can give the Bloodsey to Nosferatu then.
I will say, Strange Darling didn't have any CGI in it. You know, but that's all.
True. It is
So
true. It is true. Yeah, none at all. That is true. And it was so dependent on it. But all right, so that leaves us with our final category, and we've got 10 nominees for this. I really
ooh,
we're gonna do best performance is our last one. I really struggled, man. I had originally I was gonna do best lead performance and then supporting role. And then I'm like, oh, we should do best villain, which we did.
yeah,
Well, maybe we
yeah,
do best villain, best hero, final girl. And I looked, there's not enough final girls. So I just said, fuck it, best performance, and we'll
that's fair.
nominate fucking everybody that performed amazingly well. So let's go through all 10 nominees and then we'll each pick our favorite one. And then you guys from the chat help us decide who gets the Bloodsey for best
It'd be the
performance
hardest one for
of
sure.
the year. So going through them all, the first two are from Strange Darling. It's Kyle Gallner and Willa Fitzgerald, which that fucked me up right there. Because like, who's the lead in that movie? Who's the supporting role? Who is the villain? We don't even want to say. So it was a
Ooh,
tricky one. So that was part of the reason I'm like, fuck it, best performance. Uh,
yeah, they both.
David Johnson, who plays Andy from Alien Romulus. Naomi Scott, the lead character from Smile 2. David Mastacholi, David, whatever, the dude from fucking Late Night with the Devil. David Demi Moore from The Substance. Hugh Grant from Heretic. Lily Rose Depp, because I had to pick somebody from Nosferatu, and I guess right, that's the right choice,
Yeah.
I feel. And then Micah Monroe from Longlegs, which I mean, I guess I could have put in a Nicolas Cage from Longlegs. I just felt like
No,
he wasn't in the movie enough. I could have put in Bill
yeah,
Skarsgård from Nosferatu, but yeah, that's why I did the villain category.
no, you did it the right way because I it's a he is a character, but do we really get any character from him in Long Legs as opposed to
Right.
you know? So I think that was that's and the villain category definitely justified that. Um, damn it, that's
Let me
just
recap because that was a lot and a couple people just joined. So again, this is the final award of the night going for best performance. Micah Monroe from Longlegs, Lily Rose Depp from Nosferatu, Hugh Grant from Heretic, Demi Moore of The Substance, David Mastacholi or whatever the fuck his last name is from Late Night with the Devil, Justice Smith, who I think I skipped from I Saw the TV Glow, Naomi Scott from Smile 2, David Johnson played Andy in Alien Romulus, Willa Fitzgerald, Kyle Gallner from Strange Darling. So, what say you, my brother?
this is the hardest one, man.
It really is.
I'm trying to think of like the performances that resonated with me the most that had me like just thinking about him afterwards after we finished watching and discussing them.
I
Like
think
I
we're
will,
I think we're gonna have a hard time narrowing it down to one, maybe, because the chat is
yeah,
we already got a couple different from the chat. Evan saying he's got to go with Micah Monroe, and
that's
Sal
fair.
saying he's got to go with Demi Moore.
That's
I
fair.
respect the shit out of both.
Yeah.
Kyle Gallner was great too. Kyle said, or Evan says, I agree. Both those two in Strange Darling were phenomenal. But me personally, I can't give it to either one of those because there's other ones that like carried their movies. But those
Yeah.
two were fucking great performances.
And I can't, it's like, I loved Hugh Grant, but it's like, I don't know if it was it's up there for a great performance of him, but I don't know if it was a game changer in his career like it was for Demi Moore. You know, like that was something we had never really. I mean, we'd never really seen him do that either. But he was playing more up to like a typecast in a way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we expect that politeness. He was him with a twist. You know,
Yeah, he wasn't. Yes, yeah, exactly. He wasn't a. It was kind of dependent on the rest of his career. It worked
right?
so well
Yes,
because of what he'd done before that. I mean, not
exactly.
to take away from him. I don't
No, it
know,
was,
dude.
but
I'm
that's
still sitting here. I guess I'm kind of like you. I'm still fucking deciding
it's hard, bro.
myself, man.
Hmm. You know what? I got. You know what? If
Who's it between for you?
I would have. I'm trying not to be biased, but you know, because Strange Darling I loved, but it's like between those two, I don't think it really. If we were to try to narrow it down, I don't think we could. I don't know, because is it from her point of view? Like, or
Right.
is he? I think it would be more from her point of view, but
I would kind of lean towards Kyle Gallner's performance, but it's you're
that
fucking
no,
splitting hairs in that one, man.
yeah,
It's really
no,
hard.
yeah, I feel that. No, I if I were to lean towards one of the two, I lean towards him. But that once again, they did so well complementing each other, where it's like I feel like something like The Substance, that was like Demi Moore really stepping it up and
Hmm,
putting on her back in a sense. Even though everyone did
totally.
fine, she was very vulnerable in that role as a woman who's maybe 60 or pushing 60, and encompassing that role as well as she
To
did.
say something like a downside of the substances, she's she's not in like a good chunk of the movie. Like
True.
for a moment, I was like, "Oh shit, is she not going to be in this
It's yeah,
fucking movie anymore?" And then she comes back. And don't get me wrong, it's a 2 hour movie. She does plenty in it. She's probably in it 3 or 4 times as much as Bill Skarsgård or Longlegs are in their movies. But
mm,
it is like Hugh Grant carries the movie in a way. Not that the
I
supporting roles aren't great, but he's in the movie more. It's almost more dependent on his performance. It's so dependent on his
that no,
performance.
that's a great point. It's yeah, like when you really boil down Heretic, it sound if you describe this movie to someone, it probably sounds boring as shit.
Yeah,
Because it
totally.
is a lot of dialogue, but when you actually watch it, it's very engrossing and engaging. You know what? I'm gonna let bias in this one. I shout out to Demi Moore. But you swayed me on this. Thank you. But I got Hugh Grant. Like you said, it is way more dependent on his character keeping you involved in the story and you wanting to see how this plays out. Where it's like she did do amazing, but Demi Moore wasn't the focus for a certain chunk of the film, and
Right. Well, here
the substance.
it's funny. Like I'm saying that, and I'm like kind of convincing you, and then I'm like, oh wait, maybe I don't even want to convince him. I don't know. Demi Moore, Demi Moore. Like, don't go
No,
there. But yeah, like I think to me, well, let's just let me ask you that: is it between Demi Moore and Hugh Grant for you? Is that the debate? Because I think for me, I
yeah,
think it is. There's other
yeah,
ones that I fucking loved,
yeah.
but to me, I think it's definitely I would have to go between those two. And here, let's read some comments because you guys are making good perform or comments. Sal says to be more for me, performance of a lifetime. Again,
Absolutely.
Ava picked Mike Monroe. Says Kyle Gallner was great. Frank Meeting Review says I'd say Willa Fitzgerald from Strange Darling, Demi Moore, or Naomi Scott. But Naomi Scott, she did all that singing and dancing for the movie, so I think that is something that at least give her
Yeah.
credit for. I'm not gonna go that route because I even prefer the actress from Smile One a little bit more. Her performance, just
I
like
thought you. Yeah.
stylistically, it's what I like. It's
I
not
thought
as
you were gonna say.
big from
Sorry.
what.
I thought you were gonna say I prefer the singing and dancing from Trap a little bit more.
Sale saying, I think because Demi Moore's performance seemed really personal, almost like autobiographical, which I
Yeah.
appreciate that too.
Yep.
Like she fucking put herself out there, like
Yeah.
in so many ways. This is like she's dealing with these issues in a Hollywood. She's more or less like
That's
she
yep.
added. It's kind of funny now that I think about it, because what I said about Hugh Grant's character in Heretic is it's dependent on us knowing his career before
Time.
that. Not
Mm-hmm.
dependent, but it helps. It helps
Mm-hmm.
because we know his career before that. But really, to me, more knowing that who she is, knowing that she is an A-list
Previous
celebrity
sex
from
symbol.
Hollywood, that's really informing our experience for that movie too. So that's really interesting.
That you know what, man? I if I had to give an edge, I probably would give it to Hugh Grant just because Heretic caught me off guard. But if I could split it, I think they both deserve it. Demi Moore, I can't stress enough how vulnerable, like, because I want to do that shit at my
Right.
age, and I fucking had a whole Hollywood career where people have been criticizing and judging her.
Even
Um,
you know what, having to know that like you've also got this super hot young
yep,
version of you that like that's
and
the
we're
whole
playing off
thing.
that.
And they're
Yep,
going and doing interviews together like, she's the hot young one, you're the old one, what's that like? It's like it's
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
awkward. It took
yeah,
it took her way more balls to do her role than anybody else
and
on the list.
yeah, it takes like a level of confidence that Hugh Grant. They were both playing to typecast into a degree, but Hugh Grant was playing his shit with a twist where she was playing as like a an archetype of like a previous sex symbol, you know, that it's like
Right.
how that's hard pill to swallow. Like you're gonna be playing this person who used to be hot. It's kind of indicative of your actual life because you're older now, you know. But you know,
And you're gonna be naked.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
she
gonna be
looked
naked.
amazing,
Okay,
mind you.
here's the because I'm kind of talking myself as I feel like we both are into Demi Moore. But here's the question, and I think the answer is Hugh Grant. Which one is more irreplaceable? I don't think. I think you could find. I think like Courtney Cox, or maybe not Courtney Cox, like Julia Roberts
No,
could have
yeah,
done that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that probably could have done it. The way, if people that haven't seen Heretic, like, it's hard to explain just how fucking charming this guy is being. Like, it's insane. You just want to sit on his lap
well,
and, like,
well,
you know what I mean? Like,
you
eat
feel
milk and
about
cookies with him.
yeah, it's like he'll ask the most disturbing questions, and it's like you feel like you still owe him an answer because he was so polite about
Yeah.
it, you know, like
How about another one of your drum rolls as he's laying over this dead body? It's so crazy.
oh,
It really, I mean, Sal's saying split best actor, best actress, which I considered, but I've never thought that made a whole lot of sense. Like, let the
there
women, you know what I
are
mean? It's the same fucking thing. Men and
yeah.
women. It's a
All
performance.
right,
It's not like
if
a
I'm being biased, I would give it to Hugh Grant just because, like I said, I was impressed because I'd seen him try to play these slimy, swarmy roles if few years prior to this, and I was like, "What are you doing, Hugh Grant?" But in this, I was like, "Okay, I finally get it. I get it. You got
mm,
a shot for it. You're, you know." But before, I was like, "You're the nice guy." This one, I was like, "Okay, you're using a nice guy to lull us into a false sense of security. I like that, you know."
right.
You made a strong point. I do think that even though Demi Moore gave a lifetime performance, I think you could that I don't want to. They might have brought the same thing to the table, but it almost could have been irreplaceable or not irreplaceable, but replaceable with any other actress around her age, like Julia
I,
Roberts.
I'm sitting here trying to think. Here's what I'm thinking, not to cut you off, but like, it's hard. It could have been really bad if you put
yes,
some
yeah,
fucking role. If it's like Kelsey Grammer in that role, he might have pulled it off. Kelsey
he
Grammer
was
might have pulled off the Hugh
he was
Grant
the man.
role.
Yeah,
Honestly, he could have probably done it. But you need someone like that, and it's rare. And it could have really been cheesy really fast. It could
yes,
have just not worked like big
yeah,
time. I think there's more in the substance outside of that performance that's going to make that movie work no matter what. And that's kind of why.
right,
That's why I'm going to say for
yeah.
my final answer is Hugh Grant. And the chat,
I like
I want you guys just between Hugh Grant and Demi Moore. I feel like most of you in the chat are with Demi Moore, and that's great.
that's fair.
Let us
Yeah,
hear it.
that's
Yeah, let us hear it. What just between those two? What do you guys think?
I, I like that though. They both gave fucking knockout performances, bro. But yeah,
Which
Hugh
what
Grant really won me over, bro. I
is that who
gotta,
you're going with?
yeah, I'm gonna go with Hugh Grant, man.
Yeah. Well, I think
That movie surprised
the
me.
way our rules work. First of all, we want to hear what you say, chat. But it doesn't fucking matter because Hugh Grant wins the Bloodsey for best performance in a horror movie of
He deserves it.
2024. Hell yeah! Let's recap the first annual Bloodsey Awards, which I don't know how I feel about that name. I just came up with it
I
on the
like that.
spot before we got
Yo,
earlier this morning. So it's what we got. And
I like that a
so
lot.
worst movie of the year. We both had a pick for this because we didn't all see the same shit. My man's Link went with Watcher, and I went with Salem's Lot. Best
Both fair.
cinematography of the year. It was a tough choice between Strange Darling and Nosferatu, but with the chat's help, we went Nosferatu. Heretic gets best screenplay. Alien Romulus gets best popcorn movie of the year. Scariest film of the year was Terrifier 3. Best practical effects film of the year was The Substance. And kill of the year went to the Terrifier 3, the shower scene. I didn't write that one down. Glad I remembered it. How could I forget it? And performance of the year, once again, Hugh Grant. Tough choice
Man.
between him and Demi Moore. They should be in fucking Smile 3 together next year.
Yo, yeah.
Smile 1943, starring Demi Moore, Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. My man saying, I agree about Nosferatu, talking cinematography. Hell yeah, man. And then just real quick, Link's favorite movie of the year was Strange Darling, and mine was The Substance. So go again. If you're just joining us now, we just did a top 10. And again, every movie that we mentioned throughout the whole entire top 10 and most of the movies that we've talked about, period, we have full breakdowns on for damn
You
near
know
all
what's
one of them.
shocking is that we both couldn't guess our number ones. I think it's something about being put on the spot, but it's like going into this, I kind of felt like Strange Darling was gonna be my number one, and then like you were leaning towards,
Same. Same.
But it's like
I
we put on the
tried.
spot.
I tried hard to not make the Substance my number one. You know what I mean? I was trying, or I guess that's the only other one. Terrifier 3 was up there for a minute because if I was fully going on which one I'm most like, I haven't bought the Substance yet. And that
Okay.
to me, like as a collector, that says a lot. I'm going to, but like Terrifier 3 was a pre-order day one. You know what I mean? It's like right away. I was like, duh, I'm definitely getting that. The Substance, I'm like, it's gonna be streaming. Like, is it important enough? Like, do I need it in my collection? I think I do.
Right.
I want it. But Terrifier 3 was a no doubt. But let's wrap this up because we've been going 2 hours 11 minutes, and I gotta fucking piss, man. I got to go. So, so you guys in the chat are awesome. Chill out, man. Just joining us late, but I appreciate you, brother. Go back, watch the whole thing, share it with your friends. Call sign Mavericks channel. Appreciate you, brother. Sal, my homie, appreciate you as well. Frank's Media and Reviews. You are the shit. Evan, you're equally the shit. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all you guys. D-Dog, you son of a bitch. Jared Stark. Stu, the motherfucking Slayer. Up in this bitch. I appreciate you. Easy Dick. 9-panel grid, my homie. Appreciate you. 2 hours and 12 minutes. He's gone. I'd call him Easy Dick. Warren Smith. Kenneth Bird. I love you guys. You guys are the shit. Make sure you guys are coming back and hanging out with us on Thursday night. Fang Fest continues. We're on week 2 of 5 weeks of Vampire Talk right here on Blood Splatter Chatter. And I'm going to play you the Fang Fest intro on the way out just to get you excited. We're doing Dracula 1931 versus Dracula 1958, known in America as Horror of Dracula. Hell yeah. So be here for Thursday and Fang Fest continuing. Missing Link, I appreciate you. And we'll see you guys next Thursday.
Children of the night, what music they